Welcome to the Stridyl Podcast Unplugged, episode 5. Okay, David, we've been quite busy again.
Yep.
As always.
Yep.
But one of the things I did want to touch on is that we bought a horse.
Yes. Yeah, we took a small share in a horse.
Well, we should know. It was probably one of my favourite text messages I ever had from David.
Yep.
He sent me a little picture of a horse. And he said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "Yeah, it's cute." And David said, "Great, because we own some of him now." But it's important for us put our money where our mouth is.
Yep.
And we quite liked a horse. It was on Stridyl.
Yep.
And we decided to have a crack at it and get involved. We actually haven't had a horse for a little while. We've had a couple over our time. We've raced some together, some not together. But we haven't had one. The last time we had it was with Kieran, and we sold it last year before?
No, I think it's
2 years ago.
Is it at least 2 years ago?
2 years ago. So we haven't had one for 2 years, which has been nice in a way.
Yep.
But we're getting back into it, which is really important for us because it's really important. You know, we're really passionate about ownership in racing. So, you know, you'll hear from our last podcast, we've been making a conscious effort of going around to see more trainers, see more training establishments, and understand a little bit more about each trainer that we have on the website. And I think that's really important for us because it's important for us to understand of where maybe our industry is falling short, of what could be more attractive, what could be more educational, what could we put out to a wider public for them to understand about racing. So I think it's been really interesting for us. So the little horse that we've got is with Derby Racing, is going to be trained with Michael Friedman. And if you've listened to any of our podcasts before this, you will know that David has a relationship with Michael. So that was a trainer that we knew, that David worked for a while. And we've done quite a bit of work with Derby Racing. We love these guys. They're doing such a good job in the syndication space. And this is this our first syndication that we've actually been involved in?
The one with Kieran's was with Australian Bloodstock, but when we took our share...
We took it with Kieran?
Yeah, it was their 50%.
Yep.
But it raced in the Australian Bloodstock colours.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't even race, he just trialled.
So this is our first time being solely looked after by a syndication.
Yes, the criteria, obviously it's a long season. There's been over 6,000 horses go through the ring. Mm. We follow the same criteria of becoming a racehorse owner, of how we perceive people, the general public do as well, and how Stridyl operates.
Yep.
So I suppose I can give a little bit of a rundown to our whys and how we went from not having a horse to this one. All season you see these beautiful horses. We work with a diversity of clients, a lot of great judges. It's gone to the top trainers. It's the best colt on grounds. We loved them because of this. The half sisters done that. But number one, a lot of those were outside our price budgets.
I think that's a huge drive for most people, yeah?
I would imagine it's number one. Because if it's outside your budget, you're not, or if you don't see it as value, you would, there's a lot of options to have a look at.
Yeah.
You see a lot of horses walk out, you overthink it, beautiful page, best colt, sale topper.
Yep.
This horse came from one of the OK sales, HTBAs. Its record for producing Group 1 horses is certainly not as high as a Magic Millions or an Easter, etc. But the sale house determines what sale they think they go into. So this guy's by Yes, who's going okay. Again, he's not I'm Invincible, but he's a young stallion. He's every opportunity. The dam won by 7 lengths.
This is right. This was Sir Owen Glen Dam, wasn't it?
Yep.
A Globe Star.
Yep. Little Asterix won over 900 metres, which is not too many of those races. Yes.
So she was really fast.
She was really fast.
Because 900 metres is not long, but to win by 7 lengths, you've got to have plenty of gate speed.
Dual Musselbrook winner.
Okay.
So, but again,
real fast.
Like speed, then obviously where does it go to be trained? It gives you confidence if it's someone who you perceive will get the best out of it.
Yep.
Scott said, it's going to go to Michael. Now we love to work with people like Darby, who are huge supporters of Stridyl and Rorison Media, and knowing Michael as well of how he trains and how ethical he is and his approaches and ethos we align with. It's someone who we want to have an experience with. So price point was important. Trained by a trainer who is a golden slipper winner. The selectors are Derby Racing. They've had Overpass, Osmosis, Malkovich, She Will Reign, who won the slipper, Yankee Rose, all bought under their banner. So multiple tick boxes, the selector, the trainer, the price point, the dam, the sire.
We bought a horse.
It's
a colt.
Colt by Yes.
And he's my favourite colour.
Ranger.
I don't know if you can say it with an Australian accent.
Without or with?
Without.
Ranger.
And how would we say that in a Scottish accent?
Ginger. He's a very ginger looking horse.
Aye, he is very. He's orange. He's bright orange, and I love him. And he's got 3 white legs with a beautiful white face. Quite an interesting white face, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, by Yes out of Michael's Special Date, who's quite fast on the track, and we have already put our name forward for him. We've put a couple of selections. So what we actually have done is, our main thing is getting as many people involved in ownership as we can. So we've actually put all of our family in, and we've got like a little family syndicate. So our family home and our family back in Scotland are all following this, as well as some friends that are somewhat interested in our little horse. So that's quite interesting. So we asked them collectively. So we had quite a few names to put forward that came from the family. So we submitted them. And then we also submitted Jubilation, which we quite liked. So I hope no one steals it. But we don't know if he'll get it because we've only got a small share and there's loads of others in there that have got more names. So
I think this is also for anyone who hasn't owned a horse or who has. This is the first stage, I think, where your imagination runs away with you. Where you start going,
will it be a good stallion name?
How would you market that as a stallion? You know, it's amazing how you see it, you know the probabilities, but you look into the dam and you look into the sire, and is that a fun name? And definitely, you try, you go, I don't really care. The name. The horse makes the name.
You definitely cared. Definitely cared.
I hate seeing like, yes,
the other day you told me how much money we would get if he won the slipper. He's literally in his last week of breaking in. I'm
just going to send Michael the invoice now. But everyone's got the preference as well. Like you see, like Highclere, when they name a horse, they give the syndication group like a historical name as well. Like this probably isn't one, but the Sir Walter Raleigh Syndicate.
Wow.
And they give you a rundown of why that group.
That's what it's called. That's quite interesting. That's quite good. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah,
So the most exciting thing about Yes Special Date is he's on Stridyl.
He's on Stridyl.
Which means if you would like to get involved, you can come race and have a bit of fun. He's quite cheap. $660 he starts from for the ownership opportunities. So a really nice entry level to get in on.
I think as well now at this point of the season, there's a lot of horses on the website you can own a percentage of, or one of the ownership opportunities start at under $1,000.
Yep.
Obviously, at the start of the year when we just had Magics, the starting point was like 4, 5, 6, 10,000.
Yep.
Now we've got diversity of stallions, diversity of trainers, diversity of syndications. Yep. And obviously diversity of budget.
So it's worth knowing that we've got 50 horses on the website.
Yep.
And there's 29 of them you can buy in for under $5,000.
Is that right?
Well, I didn't just make it up.
You could have. You love throwing things
Well,
at me that
people
aren't
are
true.
going to check. So,
But I think as well, looking at it, I think there's 32 individual stallions on the website as well, or sired offspring,
yep.
which is great. But there's some stallions that are very well represented, like Too Darn Hot's got multiple. Yes has got multiple.
Yep.
I'm going to put it out there that anyone who's listening to this podcast, the yes special date could be sold out by the time you inquire. And the only reason it is, chatting to the guys, he's been very popular.
Yeah, cool.
And I think it might be due to a whisper knowing that a top judge had seen him.
You?
Me? Nah, again, I think
I
chatting
don't
with the
think
guys.
that'll be it at all, to be honest.
But again, at that price point, if he is sold out, Derby have multiple at similar price points. They have.
If yes is your interest, then we do currently have 4 of them on Stridyl, by the way.
And if that one's sold out, how quick has that been for a yes quote?
Yeah, and because I did put it in the newsletter under yes, and yes, which I thought was really clever.
Yes, it is a good idea.
Also, side note, we do put a newsletter out to tell you what's going on, what's been happening. So make sure you sign up for that, because we've got, tells you which trainers have came on, how many horses we've got, and cool, unique content that's going out. So don't miss out on that. Anyway, interesting story. We bought a horse, and let's just see, we'll put our money where our mouth is. What we will do is we'll maybe update people on our ownership journey of how he's going, because it's important to be realistic about that. They're not all slipper winners. Some going to be very successful, some mediocre, some get your money back, some don't. And I think racing is a journey and not a destination.
Well, can I give a very quick story under 15 minutes?
The quickest, under 15 minutes.
Yeah, yes.
That sounds very long
No, I'll
for
keep
a
it short.
story. Jesus.
The last horse that we had was a chestnut with Kieran.
Yep.
They bought that for 32,500. The dam had thrown a couple of nice horses. She was fast herself, and Kieran bought one at the classic sale. I liked it. Again, you want to support the clients that support you. So I just said, look, I'll just remove $1,000 from the media invoice we'll send you if I can have 2.5%. I think before I even got up to the sale ring, that horse was sold out.
Oofed.
Because people watched the sale. Anyway, very quick, goes into training. Updates for Kieran's are excellent, but they kept us grounded of, this horse is a bit of a boy, he's not showing much, he's a bit lazy, he's a bit leery, he's too much thinking about his appendages. We had a very wet autumn that year, and he said, look, I can't get him on the grass, can't get any gauge on him, jump outs have been average, we're probably going to give him one more jump out, turn them out, geld him. So that experience was a little bit deflating, but honest. I was like, okay.
I've never been deflated by that. I think it's a man thing. I think you guys get
Getting your
sad.
appendages taken off is very much.
Is that what you call them? Appendages?
That's the polite word. Is
it?
If I was having my appendages removed for being a bad man, I'd be.
Well, you'd be in prison for a start.
I'd run a bit faster.
Because you obviously did something really bad.
I'd definitely run a bit faster.
Do you reckon you'd run faster without them?
I'd be Usain Bolt if I was getting my appendages removed.
Ah, sorry. You mean like you would particularly run faster if someone threatened you, but if you had them off, do you think that you would run faster?
I'd be lighter.
Lol.
Anyway,
I don't get offended by this. If someone would say to me, "Oh, look, my call, we're going to geld him," I'd say, "All right," because I know the facts that there's a very limited amount that can go to stud each year. Not because we don't have any room for them, but because you have to be of a certain grade and be able to compete. So I don't mind that so much. I think that's quite a proactive decision. But obviously, you took it harder than I did.
Well, again, the expectations were low. It was bought for 32,500. He'd been into the system. Kieran had I think about 120 yearlings on his books that season. So he's got a good gauge of where that horse sits, and it wasn't high on the list. And then I think the rain subsided enough that he said, look, we're going to trial him.
Yep.
And then just turn them out. Comes out, we were at Royal Ascot, media morning, got an update to say Wild Amber's had his first trial, see the update, and I was like, oh my God, this horse has got an update. Very upbeat.
He'd won, didn't he?
He won his trial by 8 lengths.
Very upbeat.
Fastest 2-year-old trial of the morning.
Fastest pariah, wasn't he?
Yes, fastest. That's a big achievement, being the fastest pariah. But at the time, it was the first season, run the fastest time. That was the media morning. We didn't even get to Royal Ascot, and we got an email to say we've had an offer for Hong Kong.
It's been sold.
Please vote on it. By the time I'd got to Italy, the money was in the bank.
Well, there you go.
So again,
Another way that ownership can go.
I would have loved just to have raced on it at my 2.5%, but I was also happy to sell as well. So hopefully this guy...
Okay, here's a question that I would like to put out there, because obviously we're starting to put questions out now.
Yep.
Once you get that offer, and let's just say specifically from Asia, and you reject it, do they go on with it? Do you think that those offers from Asia, when you decide not to do it, are the kiss of death?
Is that a question to myself? Is it?
No, I'm just saying.
Certainly a stat I don't have the answer to.
Well, I just feel like so many times have we seen Asia offer big money for those fast horses that are early that they'd really like to have, and for, connections to reject it for whatever reason, whether it be they don't want the money, they want to race on, any of the above. How many of them does it stop in their tracks? I'd like to put it out there. I'd like to ask anyone, name me the horses that's happened to, because I know for a fact, if we're especially working in a big stable, when we had those, I used to think of them as a kiss of death. I'd be like, well, there is no option. I used to see them as the gospel. If you were offered, you sold.
Well, when Michael Friedman was going to Hong Kong, I don't know if he was doing like a budget holiday, like a package holiday that year, but I think Johnny Walker spent more time in the stable vetting horses for Hong Kong than he did anywhere else. He took Henry the Creative up there, who was unbeaten for the stable at the time. He was a Metro winner. Clients were getting offered, I think Michael if Frolic wasn't a filly, I forgot
about Frolic.
I'm sure he'd have put her in his suitcase and taken it to Hong Kong as well. But look, the numbers are always very good for Hong Kong.
Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that if it's offered, you just have to take it regardless? Or, do you have any superstition about knocking those offers back? And I'd love to see what the numbers are on those horses that have been offered that and then not gone on with it. Have been absolute champions up until that point and then have not gone on with that. I see it as a little bit of a kiss of death. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's a greed thing, because this industry is so good about leveling people, of whether it's just the industry's way of being like, that's it, you can't go on with it.
Well, I sold a horse to Queensland for 20,000, and to Tom Headley. He was looking for a horse, and I said, it runs on Tuesday, should run and win, but they said regardless they're going to sell because they've had their fun with it. Only had like 7 or 8 starts, but it was a little bit limited. And he goes, okay. He never tried to pull out the sale after the horse ran because it was beaten 7 lengths, but it ran second. And he goes, it's a bit disappointing. And the horse that won that was Furore, I think it was called.
Okay.
That went to Hong Kong and won the Hong Kong Derby. So those connections would be interesting, asking them after you win a race by 7 lengths, you were unbeaten. It must have been a very good offer to go to Hong Kong and see it win the Hong Kong Derby. On the other side, is there any regret of selling?
I don't think so. I don't think there ever is. I think you have to be really lucky for what you've got. I think if there is regret, then it's greed. I think if you've got a nice horse who produced well, someone's offered you good money for it, well done. You've done extremely well. As
long as the horse has the environment as well.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's offering that good amount of money, they're usually going somewhere very good.
Yep.
So, next bit on the website is we're going back to Queensland.
Yep.
We've been up and down, going back for the national sale.
Yep.
And we're really excited to catch up with one of our new trainers that have signed on.
Yep.
Chris Muntz.
Yeah, I think they've put 10 on the platform. They'd already put them up, caught up with the team when I was up for the mayor's sale last week, just to have a bit of a catch up with them. They were very upbeat about the website, about how easy it was to use. Obviously, with the collaboration with Racing Queensland, there's great support on that side from the governing body. And we're going to be creating some content with them when we go up again this week. I think probably most likely to be confirmed, we'll do a podcast with Chris Munce and also spend a morning with him.
Yep.
Apparently rides work every morning. Right. So
well, he was a jockey, wasn't he? Using all skill sets.
He wasn't a bad jockey. He rode quite a few Group 1 winners.
He did actually. In the Stridyl quiz, if anyone tunes into those, they're on every second Friday. He featured in that.
And I think last year he won the Group 1 Tats Tiara. Again, new trainer on the website, but again, it's all about content and how we can promote them and market them.
Yep.
One of the main things is when you sign up with 10 horses and they're on there for multiple months, we've got a good gauge of the spend, and we can put
diversify.
That allows us to know how much we should be trying to put behind them in the state, to assist with publicising them to our audience. They've had a good attention organically so far. With content, I'm really looking forward to see.
Just getting people to know who they are. And most people that follow racing definitely know who Chris Munce is. But maybe people who are teetering on the edge, unsure, don't really know who it is they want to align with, would maybe watch a morning with him and say, this is cool. I really like a trainer that rides. Because not many trainers actually ride their own horses.
Yep.
So that could be something that someone thinks might give their horse the edge.
Yes. And again, they can go on the website, click on Chris Munce, bring up his horses and compare them.
Yep.
It's how we buy our food. It's how we get credit cards. We compare everything, and the ability to go on there and go, okay, that's my price point. That's my trainer.
Yep.
I like that stallion.
Yep. And
send the inquiry over to him, and which is free. And I'm really looking forward to spend a little bit of time with Chris and his team and create something for people to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's exciting.
Yep.
So we'll head up there. We've got a few other meetings with a couple of other trainers as well. So I'm hoping that by the time this goes out, we might even have a few more on.
Yep. And it's just, again, value proposition is sign up, let us create some content.
Let us put you out there.
Let's get you out there.
Let's get people racing with you. Our ambassador has been very busy, Rachel King.
Yep.
She was up in Queensland yesterday.
Yep. And
she was looking very smart on Channel 7 in her Stridyl gear.
Yeah, thanks to Channel 7 for giving us some airtime with Rachel.
But she looks very smart. We've been at Track Workmouth Day. She's been out there. Rachel's really she's a great jockey to have, but she's very passionate about getting enough people into racing. And luckily for us, she is on her way to the UK very shortly to get married, and she's hoping to get a couple of UK rides at Ascot.
She seemed very confident she was going to be she was going to have a couple of rides for Ascot. I think she's got the same agent as Ryan Moore.
Yeah, I think he was really keen to pick her up.
Tony Hayne, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and he was really keen, and he thought he'd be able to get a couple of rides. Both Rach and I worked for Clive Cox back in the day, and I think Clive seemed to be quite supportive.
Yep.
And a few others, so I'm a bit excited for her.
When you're a lightweight rider and there's 30 runner fields, gives a great opportunity, because not every jockey will go there for one ride. They want to have 5-6 rides at another meeting. So hopefully we'll see Rach flying the Australian flag and the Stridyl flag, which is even more exciting for us to have an ambassador who wears our brand. Fantastic to be in front of trainers and syndications, owners, and obviously on media yesterday. She had the silks on and her skivs, so we love working with Rach.
Yeah.
And I think she'll be successful.
So next week we're heading back out to Queensland. We'll catch up with Chris Munce, but we're also going to the races.
Yep. Races is the next spot. Looking forward to doing something there. Media accreditation seems a little bit easier to obtain. Not as many restrictions, because in New South Wales we can't actually film horse flesh.
Yeah, it's a bit tough, isn't it?
So we have to stick within the rules. We can't film horse flesh at a horse racing meeting. So in Queensland, I think it's a little bit easier to obtain, and we look forward to to doing some content with the clients that are on the website, find some avenues in which maybe same sires, etc. I think Godolphin's one of the sires' produce on Saturday was by Too Darn Hot.
Yep.
So again, we'll just try and tie everything in, make some fun reels, tag all the clients in it, raise awareness, have a bit of fun. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Queensland Oaks Day.
Yep. The Autumn Sun, probably sires another Oaks winner.
Do you reckon? I'm just having a look at how many noms there was. 34 noms. The weights are obviously out. So there's plenty in there. There's plenty going to have a run. It's a bit exciting.
Yeah, well, Mick Price, he had a double on Saturday, including the Derby. He has 6 yearlings, 6 opportunities on the website, him and Mick Kent Jr.
Yep.
So again, if someone wants to race with someone who's just, or a training operation that's just had a double, they've had a big year, they've had multiple Group 1 winners.
Great year, actually.
And fresh off of a 10-length Derby win, come to the website.
Search them. Get down to Victoria.
Yep.
Be a part of it. We've seen quite a few of the races being called off on Saturday.
Yep.
Rosehill was soaking. And Newcastle. Bit surprising. I do reckon that's probably one of the best tracks that we've got in New South Wales. That was also gone. But Queensland went ahead.
Yeah, the track seemed to hold up well in Queensland, and looking forward to getting up again this weekend. It's a big carnival up there, Tats Tiara. I think Stradbrook just had the Doomben 10,000s, etc. a couple of weeks ago.
The Magic Mains National Classic, the Morton Cup, which is a Group 2, the Queensland Day Stakes, which is a listed for 3-year-olds, Spear Chief, which is a listed, the Phoenix, which is the 2-year-old listed, the Lightning, Benchmark 90, and there's a handicap on there, the last race. True weights refer to the local rule. That was always fun when you were a racing manager. What? All right, what else would you like to cover in this one, Dave?
Just touching on again, obviously as we head north, one of the clients came onto the website is in Mexico and down in Victoria, Brisbane Racing.
Aren't they lovely?
Loveliest people.
Really lovely.
Got a common denominator that myself and Ben's wife, Heather, are from the same town in Scotland.
Yes.
She was an apprentice jockey to Luca Kamani, and just lovely, really hard-working people. They've taken on the Rorison media side to assist with their growth. We spent 2 mornings with them at track work and on their farm. We've created multiple pieces of content to promote their business, and we'll start to roll out some on Stridyl. But what did you take away from your time spent with Ben and Heather?
So I loved it. I loved going down there to Melbourne. And that was probably my first time definitely in Victoria on a provincial track.
Yes, Wangaratta, yeah.
Affectionately known as Wang to the locals. I quite liked it. It was cute. It's cute. The little stand was great. Like, it was a really nice track to go to, actually. And it was very different coming from Metro, being at Randwick, and then coming to a much smaller scale, where I feel like all the trainers and all the track work riders, they all help each other out, because there's not a whole lot of them.
I literally thought there was only 3 track work riders in the whole place.
They just swapped from one trainer to the next.
It was so calm.
Yeah, it was really
People
cool.
went rushing on off the track.
No, I loved
Good
it.
facilities.
I really love spending time with the Brisbanes, because they're 2 relatively young people. They've got a young family, 2 gorgeous twin boys who are they're divine. But really hardworking people with huge foresight, because so they train at Wangaratta, and then they said you must come out. We really wanted a lot of the marketing they wanted to do was for their farm, and Country Victoria is really cool to go to for us, because we're obviously from the UK, and so every time we go to somewhere, anywhere Metro in Australia is cool. It's different. It has its different edges, but Country Victoria can be very different. And so we had to drive through El Dorado.
Yep. Again, we were in Mexico, so it made sense.
It literally, I was like, David, where are we? Because it was so cool. Like, it looked exactly like the desert. to be honest, to begin with. So we went through El Dorado and then past this gorgeous pub, which is also the post office.
Yeah.
And I think it could be a convenience store as well. But a great little pub, did great food.
Yep.
We went past there, and then their farm is just up on the right. Gorgeous place, very vast, very, very vast. Like, they haven't bought a little 10-acre farm.
Yep.
They've bought hundreds of acres and done all the horse safe rail fencing. So like when we spoke to them, they didn't want to do it half done to have to redo it again in several years' time. So it's all been done properly. They're building a track in there. And ideally what the Brisbanes would love to do was train the majority of them at the farm, but then to have metro boxes in the city, which is a little bit easier to for navigating to races and whatnot. But they've built this most beautiful big shed, which was like one of the first things they put on it, wasn't it? And it currently houses a lot of the machinery, but it houses the most gorgeous big boxes, and they're huge boxes. You could maybe, out of any like metro stable, you could put 3 in each one.
Yeah.
Like, they were gigantic. Really airy, and just a really lovely atmosphere for the horses to be at the farm and be looking out and grazing. And then all their paddocks were huge. Like, they weren't just little piddly paddocks. They were big paddocks where they really imagine their horses properly letting down. They've got smaller paddocks and day yards available, but the horses that were spelling there were having a really good spell, great grass, great feed, and just having a little bit of a reset. So talking with them, they've already started building their track in there. So they'd like to work some horses at it. They've got these great natural dams as well. So they're hoping to get a swimming pool. They want to build an arena, which is mostly like for where they sort of want to do it a little bit like in Britain, where the horses would collect in the morning and then clients would be able to see their horse. And then they have this lovely area where they want to build sort of chalets, don't they?
Yep.
So them owners can come and stay.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is really unique.
Yep.
And really forward thinking. So I love that.
Yeah, just really nice people. Work ethic was phenomenal. Ben and Heather were both
serious hard workers.
Serious hard workers. They've obviously had good support from clients in Victoria.
Yep.
They're looking to grow. They're look again, what we're talking in the last podcast about, our young stables given an allowance of time.
Yep.
They are driving forward. They've got a farm, great training facilities on track, lovely members of staff, and if I can bet on them being successful, yeah, it's a good bet.
Yeah. Great bet. So they've currently got 4 horses on Stridyl.
Yep.
They've got one by I'm Immortal.
Yep.
North Pacific, Yes, and Hanzik.
What's the price points of them?
So I think they're all a little bit different. So let's start with that I'm Immortal.
32,000.
32,000, and that was an English Premier.
So Hanseatic obviously stands at Rosemont in Victoria, $42,000. Again, so if you take 10%, that's $4,000 and a bit.
Yep.
1%, it's under $500 to race a horse with. I reckon if you went there, the experience you would get, very personalised.
Very personalised.
And to be involved with a stable like them. But again, it's up to people to see if it's, have a look, chat with the guys, 100% free to inquire, no hidden costs, and we'd love to see more people,
support these kind of younger guys. So the North Pacific is 32,000.
Yep.
The last one in the middle there, the Yes, is 32 as well.
Yes again.
It keeps cropping up, doesn't it? It's coming around fast. I really love that. We'll also be putting out their content this week and next week.
It'll be going out this week. We'll just bring their listings up with 2 images we assisted with, just fitting into the thumbnail a little bit more. We wanted content to drive them forward, and just diversify what they have on the website. So look forward to putting out some content to introduce them to more people.
Yep.
And hopefully people will, reach out, send an inquiry, chat with the 2 loveliest people in horse racing. Very hardworking, great foresight. If you're ever thinking about getting into a young stable that really want to diversify and have a different approach to training, this is your call. So from Brisbane to Brisbane.
Yep.
Now I'm looking forward to it. It's been a busy couple of weeks.
So we've got horses from Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland.
Yes. Next thing is the other states. As we know, Queensland is 18% of the ownership market in Australia, 70% between New South Wales and Victoria. We've got obviously WA, which I think is 4% of the market, 2% in South Australia, 2% in Tassie. It's no surprise that those states with the larger numbers occupy most of the platform.
Yep. There's more horses, more going on there. More opportunities happening, whereas we really want to have a good chat to South Australia and WA about getting them on. And, there's probably even a lot of people that are not in the state that would really like to race a horse there.
100%.
Whether it be cheaper or they just want to go there or they've got family there that can go see it, any of the above.
In the last month, we've been New South Wales, we've been Victoria, Queensland, going back to Queensland. The next trip we'll hopefully be putting into our schedule will be.
I think we're still in discussions, but we're hoping to get out to New Zealand.
Yep. Had a good response from a few of the syndications and trainers we had softly spoken to throughout the season. Would love to go and see a different country, see how they do it in New Zealand. Obviously with horses like Imperatriz, a Tissue, being successful here in Australia. Obviously our second biggest audience is New Zealand. There's a huge appetite. We get quite a few inquiries from New Zealand for Australian horses. So it'd be nice to assist with, again, diversifying the pool of trainers, syndications, price points, and obviously locations. With over the not so short future, we'll see some New Zealand.
Yeah, I really want to go. We've never been. It's very similar to Scotland, or so they tell us.
Cold.
Yeah, I like the cold. I like the weather.
Yep.
And very picturesque, so that is great. And then it's just a prime breeding environment. Like the nurseries over there just breeding the most beautiful racing stock. And I think it would be very beneficial for us to go over, have a look, see how it's being done. It's a place that we don't have any experience in. And so always growing and learning and developing is huge to do for anyone. So yeah, I really want to go.
Next stop, Queensland. Next stop after that,
New Zealand.
So again,
Can we try skiing?
We can try skiing, yes.
I can't ski for love nor money. I have terrible balance.
I've seen you try and ride a horse, so...
Trying? It's terrible.
I can't talk, I landed in my head, so I haven't rode since.
Some would say that I'm somewhat of a professional, but I don't know who they are and I don't know how you can contact them, but I just know some would say it.
Someone's delusional. But again, the more people who can get in contact with us, even if it's just content creation,
Yep.
Of what, anything they're looking to sell. And last point I'd love to touch on is the communal side of it, ghostwriters.
Oh, yes. So we put it out. We put a post out asking for ghostwriter. And we've had quite a few people put in submissions, which we're going to get them rolling very soon. But it's still open to those. We've had plenty of people. Like we've got sustainability within the industry. We've got like breaking processes, maybe interesting things, maybe people's general personal experiences. Like we've got people who work in the industry but are also owners, which maybe not a lot of people think is accessible as what it is. Yep. So that's really cool. But yeah, any of those you can write it anonymously. We'll put it out there for you. It can just be, it can be a question about the industry. It can be an improvement you think we need to see in the industry, or it could be a life experience that you want to share. We definitely want to hear from you.
We'll give you the soapbox. Come and write a blog with us or blogs. And again, we love to hear
the community aspect of what's going on.
Yeah, because we can't fix a problem unless we know what the problem is, and certainly how we've evolved Stridyl is by trainers telling us what the sore points are.
Yep.
And trying to alleviate that with horse sales. And I'm really looking forward to the ghostwriter.
The ghostwriter is pretty cool. We've had some cool submissions that have been great, really. Or even if you're like somewhat creative and you just want to have a go, just submit it. We'll talk to you about it. It can be anonymous, it can be named, it can be however you like, but just have a crack. Submit it. So the 2 questions for this podcast was getting offers from Asia and where we should go in New Zealand. So make sure you give us some responses to that. And if you think that you could try a hand at putting out a set of Ghostwriter piece, then please get in contact with us for that too.
Anyway, we look forward to creating more content, welcoming more people to the website, visiting more locations.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're literally just about to pack our bag to get going back to Queensland, and when we're up there, we're making some really cool content, which we can't wait to share with you guys. But until then, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheerio.
Bye.